Hello and welcome to Manga 96, and today we're going to talk about that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Today's topic will be the red and platinum devils, who do seem to be on rather friendly terms, who are not as friendly as red would like it to be. I'm of course talking about Guy Crimson and Leon Cromwell. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning, as I'll be spoiling a lot of things in this video, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend that you go and read the light novel, as it is an enjoyable read. For anyone else, let's start with who Guy is. Guy Crimson, also known as Rouge, is known as the oldest of the primordials and the first seed of the octogram. He resides in the ice continent. He is normally very prideful and relaxed. He doesn't care much about others, but if someone interests him, he will try to get closer to them. He appears to be very forward in his relationships. He made several suggestive and openly sexual advances at Leon while in his male form, despite Leon's insistence that he preferred women. Guy responded by on multiple occasions with offers to transform into a woman, only to be refused. He can also change his gender with ease and is interested in both binary genders. He is also interested in individuals with ultimate skills like Leon. As for his past, Guy was summoned to the world by a human as an archdemon and was tasked with destroying a nation the human was at war with. He followed that up by destroying the human's nation as well. This earned him his name, an unpleasant sounding name, like the shriek of the doomed and desperate as he crushed them. After being named, he realized he was awoken as a true demon lord. He thought it was needless at first since he believed that he was already the strongest, but this evolution also affected the two other primordials, Vert and Blue, who were summoned alongside him as Erender girls. They were given physical bodies as well as an evolution to the demon peer. Guy gave them the names Misery and Rain, reflecting the misery of mankind and the rain of blood that fell whenever Guy strode. Soon after he awakened as a demon lord, another did the same. This was Milim. She was given a pet dragon that would serve as her father Veldena's incarnation someday. This pet was killed by a foolish kingdom, and in her blind rage, Milim destroyed the country, which made her awaken. Guy stopped her. The battle took place over 7 days and 7 nights, and the battle turned the bountiful fields of the west into utter wasteland. In the end, there was no winner. The battle ended after Milim regained her senses with the help of Ramirez. After the battle, the three of them came to an agreement. They became the first demon lords and each had a separate goal. As for his relationship with Rimuru, Guy thinks Rimuru is very interesting and worth keeping track of. As seen during Rimuru's official welcome into the Demon Lord Council by defeating Clayman, Guy was amused by the latter's action and was intrigued by his power. He himself even allowed him to give the Demon Lords a new name after Frey and Carrion stepped down and their numbers reduced to 8. During this time, Guy also made similar advances to Rimuru, much like with Leon. Later, however, Rimuru would unknowingly anger Guy by upsetting the world's balance of power without knowing it. As for his relationship with Milim, Milim is Guy's good friend and fellow Demon Lord. They founded the Valpyries Council together. Guy and Milim have been acquainted since ancient times, as both he and Ramirez quelled Milim's rampage after she lost her pet dragon. As for his relationship with his demon army, Guy's forces that reside with him in the ice continent are shown to be demons descended from himself, Misery and Rain, and as such are very loyal to him. Guy himself rules over them as their king and is shown to give them plenty of leeway to do as they please based on his orders. This is seen where he frequently allows them to go wild and terrorize the human countries from time to time to help maintain the world's balance. As for his role in the story, since Dragul kicked Dino out of his residence, Guy pressured Dino into living in Tempest because he himself didn't want to deal with Dino. During a meeting between Rimuru and Luminous, it's mentioned that demons under Guy's rule tried to invading western countries multiple times. Later, Guy sent Rain and Ruby Rose, but Diablo met her and defeated her. After this, Guy appeared and started chatting with Diablo. He said that the disintegration Diablo used to defeat Rain would even kill him, only if it hits. Guy asked Diablo why he waited so long to evolve, but Diablo responded with a question of his own. He asked Guy whether he thought there were anyone stronger than them in the world. Guy said that other than the true dragons, there is no one stronger than them. Diablo started praising Rimuru, which made Guy annoyed and asked him to stop. Then Guy mentioned that even though Rimuru conquered the western nation, Guy's subordinates are wreaking havoc there. In his view, it was just a prank on the humans. Diablo's response made Guy annoyed. At this point, Guy got a message from Misery and asked Diablo when the white got named. Diablo explained to him proudly that it was Rimuru who named her. Guy found the situation laughable, since the balance of power he maintained for thousands of years was shattered to pieces. He decided to ask about the other two of the primordial trio. He was utterly astounded about hearing that both Violet and John were named by Rimuru. After further explanation from Diablo, Guy got even angrier and decided to pay a visit to Rimuru later. Following his brief reunion with Diablo, Guy proceeds to Rubiros along with Rain and appears in front of Yuki and Entourage, who are in the midst of escaping. Misery shows up shortly after and pins down the attacking footman. Being the man that he is, Guy has his eyes set solely on Yuki and doesn't spare a single glance to his companions, showing they're not worth his attention. Yuki discerns their true identity from the information he received from Clayman and Kagale, but doesn't despair in this situation. In fact, he cheerfully throws an offer of teaming up at Guy, knowing full well it will fail to gauge his intention. Guy laughs and calls him interesting, but rejects, bringing up that he is an enemy of Leon. He came with the goal of stopping Yuki from immigrating to the Eastern Empire, as he doesn't want Ruler's forces to grow any stronger. Seeing that negotiations are closed off, Yuki adopts a fighting stance. Guy smirks, asking if he thinks he'll win. Yuki replies, saying he'll have to defeat him eventually, so all he was doing was speeding up his schedule. Guy orders Misery to let go of Footman and promises to Yuki that he'll let him go if he manages to defeat him, displaying arrogance befitting of his title of Overlord. Yuki launches a kick at Guy, but is repelled by the small barrier he set up. All of Yuki's falling attacks failed, as Guy had to counter for each of them, including Yuki's anti-skill, and was beaten to a pulp. Laplace attempts to sacrifice himself by pretending to turn traitor, but is thwarted by Yuki, who manages to find the strength to get back up. He questions why Guy hasn't killed him yet, as he only inflicted attacks that led him on the brink of death. He wonders if he sees some reason. Guy admits to it to be refused to tell him, as Yuki quickly switches tracks and strikes up a deal with him. He tries to sway Guy's mind about the escaping East by proposing that while they're in the Empire, they'll act as his pawns, destroyed from within. Guy considers this proposal to be very intriguing and decides to let him go, warning them that they won't be so lucky the next time they meet. A day later, Guy visits Tempest and intrudes on Rimuru's meeting with Leon and Luminous to discuss with him why he took in more primordials and disrupted the balance of the world. Diablo tried to kick him out and have him visit another date, but in the end was allowed to attend the meeting. Moving on to Leon. Leon Cromwell is an otherworldly and ex-hero who went by his alias Platinum Saber. After he took up the title Demon Lord, his alias changed to Platinum Devil. He is the ruler of El Dorado and the 7th seat of the Octogram. Due to his inability to express himself properly, he is often seen as cold and cruel. In truth, he is actually quite kind, but on his one-track mind tends to create a distance between him and the people around him. For hundreds of years, he is extremely obsessed with Chloe Aubert, his childhood friend, to the extent of willing to commit various atrocities just to reunite with her. He always shows a proud, cold and calculative personality around other people, even when he is with much more powerful beings like Guy or Vezard. However, his personality drastically changes whenever Chloe is involved, becoming a hothead and overprotective brotherly figure. As for his past, Leon was originally an otherworldler and Chloe's Albert childhood friend whom he shared a close sibling-like relationship with. They were caught in an accidental occurrence of a dimensional distortion, but then Chloe immediately got summoned to the future, so Leon decided to search for Chloe, managing to make a contract with the greater spirit of light in Ramirez's dwelling of spirits and becoming a hero. 100 years after coming to this world, becoming known that Leon self-proclaimed himself as a Demon Lord, and as a consequence one of the Demon Lords cursed Lord Khazrim was furious with him. Khazrim went to slay Leon, but Leon turned the tables on him and defeated Khazrim instead, with him losing his material body in the process and being forced to survive for 190 years with his spiritual body until he summoned Yuki. In the meanwhile, Leon took over Khazrim's castle for himself as his new home base. Due to those events, Leon ended up taking Kagali's place within the 10 great Demon Lords and was officially recognized as a Demon Lord. More than 200 years after coming to this world, during his attempt to summon Chloe, Leon summoned Shizue out of the Tokyo firebombing and made Ifrit possess her, both in order to save her but also to find a vessel for Ifrit. Due to Leon's cold exterior, Ifrit making mistake judgment calls and Shizue's rejection of the world she got summoned to, they were unable to bond properly, culminating in the deaths of Pirino and Piso, which strained their relationship severely. Ultimately, Leon decided to leave Shizue in the care of the hero Chrono, who appeared at his castle, while Leon himself moved his base over to El Dorado. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover on Guy and Leon. And that'll be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.